Are you struggling with creating the life that you want? Are you still trying to manifest your desires? If this is your case, it's for one reason and one reason only. And even though I've discussed it in multiple previous videos, I am going to say it again in a different way, using Neville's own words, some very beautiful quotes from Neville's, very beautiful words from Neville, to help you understand who you truly are. Because, in case you don't know, the reason you are still struggling right now, it's because not only you don't know who you truly are, but you believe that you are your avatar. You believe that you are this identity. You believe that you are this human character, this mask that you are wearing. And this is the only reason you are not getting what you want in this external world of yours. Once you really understand who you truly are, and even I would suggest that you only focus on this for a whole week. Focus on your I am. Meditate on your I am. And it will help you to detach from your human character, from this identity that you identify with so much so that you are forgetting who you truly are. In my last podcast, which I linked into the last post that I posted here on YouTube to let you know that my video would be on Sunday this week instead of Friday, I mentioned a mystical experience that I had while on vacation. It's the type of mystical experience that I've heard people have when they take some type of drug. It's from a plant that is growing somewhere in South America, Central America, and that Northern Americans buy and they consume within retreats that they go to have that mystical spiritual experience. But the thing is, I had it without the drug. Yes, maybe for a shorter time, sure, but I had that experience without the drug. And I'm going to tell you about it. But why? Why did I have this mystical experience without the drug that people believe that they need in order to get that experience? Because I have had and I am still meditating very much on my I amness, on who I truly am, which is this faceless and formless, unadulterated awareness. This powerful substance that exists within me and that exists within you and that exists within every single human being. So that experience, that mystical experience that I had was very simple. I isolated myself to walk alone on the beach. And as I was observing the scenery around me, the beach, the sand, the sea, the rocks around the seashore, I had that feeling all of a sudden that what I was observing was me, and that me was what I was observing. In other words, I was having this mystical experience that I was it all and that all was me. This is a very known mystical experience that many people have had. I'm not the first one and I'm not the last one. And when you have this type of mystical experiences, it's telling you the truth. It's telling you who you truly are. So, just for about a minute, I had this experience that I wasn't separated from anything outside of me, that I was one with it. And just for fun, I said to myself, okay, if I am everything and everything is me, I want to see an orange, roundish seashell. Why orange? Because I want it to be a bright color. And because so far, all the shells that I had seen were rather long in shape and gray and white. All of them gray and white type color, long shape type seashell. And I kid you not, within a minute or two, I found an orange, round looking shape seashell. So I picked it up and I kept it as a souvenir of this mystical experience where I realized that I was everything that I was observing, and that everything that I was observing was me, that we were all one, and that I could simply think of an object and therefore see that object that is not separated from me. Have you ever noticed that the more you're trying to manifest that specific person, that money, that health, the more you struggle? Well, the reason you do, the reason you are struggling is because you are, as I said many, many times, getting in your own way. What is getting in your own way? Well, what is getting in your own way is that avatar of yours, that human character that is limited and that only thinks in a limiting way. Your human character only knows what it knows. And as long as you believe that you are this human character, this mask, well, you are only going to create what you believe that you can create. This is why it's important to know who you truly are and understand, as I've said in a previous video, that the part of you that manifests, it's not your little avatar, your identity, your human character. All of it mean the same thing, by the way. The part of you that manifests is your I am, your God self. That is what manifests. And when you get out of that way, when you get out of your true self way, everything happens right away. Or should I say, in a linear time, in a record time. But when you get in your own way and you think and believe from that character experience, from that character past, from that character story, of course, you are making it so much harder for you. This is why when you affirm, for example, and most people who affirm, they affirm from the character, right? From the human identity, the human character. And this is why they struggle. They keep affirming from that limited self of theirs. And then they are wondering why nothing is changing, because you are making things way more complicated than they are. When you become a conscious manifester, it's not that you are creating something new. You are just removing the veil. You're not adding. You are actually removing. Removing the clutter that stands between who you truly are and what you want to experience in the world. Because what you want to experience in the 3D world is not separated from you. And this is why you are struggling, because you are in this old state of yours, attached to your old story, wanting to experience something that you are not out there. And that is the only time you can use the word impossible, because that is impossible. You are trying to experience something in the outer world that you are not within. And you could try this for 100 or 1,000 linear time years, and you wouldn't be able to do it. Instead of keeping imagining the unwanted, imagine that you are the person that you want to be. Do you believe that imagination creates reality? Well, if you don't, you better start now. Because right now, as you are watching this video, as you are watching my face and my mouth moving, you are imagining something. And whatever it is that you are imagining about yourself and about your world and the people in it is manifesting moment to moment right now in your 3D shadow reality. This is because imagination creates reality. This is what Neville says in a lecture of his titled, Our Real Beliefs Are What We Live By. Do I really believe that imagining creates reality? If I do, I couldn't worry. For worry is to only conjure what I fear in this world. For worry is an imaginal act. I couldn't possibly be concerned about anything if I really believe that imagining creates reality. This is a quote that many of you should write or print and put it somewhere you see it every day. Because most of the messages and comments that I get, it's about worrying about something. And I have said it many times to you guys that when you worry, that is an imaginal act. And Neville says it very clearly, very plainly. Worry is an imaginal act. Therefore, do not be surprised if what you are worrying about manifests in one form or another. Sometimes I have people who say to me, well, this and that manifested, but I have never imagined this or that specifically. Yeah, sure, maybe you haven't imagined it specifically, but you have imagined enough worrying about around that thing that created that this or that specific thing. This is how manifesting works. We don't have to always imagine something specific, but when we are worrying about whatever it is, we are going to manifest something specific that matches that worrying that you have dwelled in, right? Because worrying, it's a state. It's a state of being, and state of beings are like mammoth of this world. They manifest big times, right? They manifest on autopilot. Why is it easier to forgive other people when you understand the law? To give you my own example, I have been in relationships where I was always the giver of my time, the giver of my attention, the giver of my love, and even the giver of my goods, my money. What did I receive in exchange? Not much of anything. I was always the giver. If anything, what I got back is slaps in my face and kicks in my butt. Not literal ones, but figurative ones. But do I still hold a grudge against people who did that to me? No, because those people in my world, they don't have any free will. I have understood that plenty enough to the point that I keep telling you guys, even though many of you still don't believe it, but it is the truth. Because there is only one thing that is true, that exists, that is real, and it's your consciousness. And consciousness is the only reality. People in it, they don't even really exist of their own. And this is why they don't have their own free will, because they will, whether they want it or not, automatically become you pushed out. They will automatically reflect what you believe, what you assume to be true about yourself, about the world, and about them. So while I was always the giver, I forgot to realize, I forgot to be awake, right? I wasn't awake or not fully awake or not as awake as I thought I was. I was still imagining that, yes, I was always the one giving more love, more money, more attention, more time, and that other person was giving less. That was what I was imagining. How? Well, by assuming that this was so. So beware, guys, beware of your assumptions. One of my most recent clients said that she had perfect assumptions about money, about career, about health, but there was that one thing she was struggling with, and it was relationship. So one of the first questions I ask her is, what type of assumptions do you have about relationships? Once you see clearly those assumptions, you'll see exactly and clearly as well why you are struggling in that area of your life. Neville said, decide to be aware of what you are imagining. That's what it means, right? Decide to be aware of what's going on in your mind day in and day out, because this is what you are imagining. And even though I have said it before 100 times, remember, when we use the word imagining, we don't mean just visualizing a specific scene. You are imagining and assuming things to be true all the time, 24/7. And unfortunately, many of those things, unless you have become aware and awake, are based on the brainwashing that you received since you were born. Neville said that in a very clear and understandable way. He said, this is a world of educated darkness. Isn't it true? Isn't it true? This is a world of educated darkness, right? People think they are educated. Doctors think they are educated. Scientists think they are educated. Lawyers think they are educated, and they are. But in the darkness of the world, right, they are not at all educated in spirituality. And we are from this world, right? We are from this society that we have created, which is, as Neville said so beautifully, a world of educated darkness. So, thank goodness that nowadays, in this 21st linear century, there are more and more awakened people, or people who are awakening, that are telling you to look inside yourself to know who you truly are, because you are source. You are this divine substance of power. You are God within. You are awareness. You are I am. All of it mean the same thing. And because you are everything and everyone in your world, and there is nothing that exists outside of yourself, this is why you can and I can manifest anything that we want. If we put limits, we are responsible for those limits, but there are not any limits unless you want to. Because again, another trap that you are falling into is believing that the world out there is real, but it isn't. As Neville said also, you are the dreamer dreaming the dream of life. Just the same way as when you dream when you are sleeping, all the trees, all the roads, all the people, all the situations that you are dreaming about, where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? From your consciousness. Nobody comes into your dream. They all exist within your dream, meaning within yourself. It is the exact same thing in the dream of life. The only difference is, as Neville said, is that it appears to be more logical as opposed to the sleeping dream, which appears to be more random. This is the only difference. But it is the same thing. What you are living out there exists first within your world, within yourself, and it is just an illusion that, yes, appears to be real, real to the touch, real to the five senses, but it isn't. It isn't. The more you grow in consciousness and awareness, the more you are going to be aware of those things, and the more you are going to see glitches. And those glitches in the 3D I'm talking about, those glitches are going to show you every time, yes, you're right. This is just an illusion. And your consciousness, your awareness is the only reality. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helped. Please share this video if you know people who can be helped by it. Give me a thumbs up, comment, ask me your questions. And don't forget, guys, to write your successful experiences, mystical or physical, whatever they are. We all need to read those as well. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye for now.